Okay. All right, y'all. We are in season 8. Season 8, believe it or not. And we're going to call this season Smear Campaign. All right, because you remember this is a diary of an almost broken woman. All right. We have now had 7 seasons complete. We're going to start season 8. And in season 8, it is 2019. So we've already covered 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. And we're jumping into 2019. Now, I know I told you guys in previous seasons, spoiler alert, I left in 2022, but I actually left in 2019. I actually left in 2019. But before we even get into how I got the courage and moved out in 2019 and all this other stuff, I think it's really important that I let you guys know that I kind of wasn't, I kind of like was forced out a little bit, right? But in 2019, there was a slew of things that happened, and I want you guys to remember 2019 too, okay? Because 2019 is probably where the isolation. So let's say in 2012 we talked about love bombing. In 2013 we talked about the financial control and or exploitation. We talked about mind games in 2014. In 2015 we talked about manipulation. In 2016, invalidated feelings. In 2017 we talked about triangulation. These are words that you need to learn as you go through your invisible abuse, all right? Because these are words or terms, I should say, that are very important for you to kind of know, so you can recognize, like, oh, is this mind games? Is this triangulation? Is this love bombing? Is this mind games? Is this manipulation? Is this invalidated feelings, and so on and so forth? Because it's all a part of the ecosystem of an invisible abuse, all right? Now, I know you guys are seeing me sit here and you're like, Julie, who cares? Well, somebody cares, right? It might not be you, but somebody is going through what I've been through, or even worse, believe it or not, or even fucking worse. All right, so let's get back into the story. It's 2019, and by this time, I have stage 4 breast cancer because I was diagnosed in 2018. And I've since found out that, I was married to a cheater. I pretty much chased this man. I chased this man. I was his rock. You hear what I'm telling you? I was like, put me in, coach. Listen, let me get my cape. Would you got a problem? I got you. And I'm telling you guys, that's probably why I'm a good life coach, right? Because I want to help people through their problems. I really do. I genuinely want you to be on the top of your game. I genuinely want you to be on top of your game. So for me, I saw this project, right? That's what it was. I saw this project that occupied me with all the shit, y'all. It was baby mama drama. It was court. It was his friends coming in on the outside. It was thing after thing after thing. You know what I'm telling you? Legitimately thing after thing after thing. And then roll around in 2018, all the dis-ease led to disease, all right? But 2019 is when I left the narc. I finally found the courage to leave him. Spoiler alert, I went back. But let's talk about 2019, all right? It didn't happen in 2019, but 2019, or maybe you could say it happened in 2019. So 2019, we're in season 8. In the beginning of the year, y'all, we're calling it smear campaign, right? And smear campaign is essentially when your toxic person goes around spreading rumors, all right? Or they give just inflictions of the truth, so that when a person thinks they know, then it becomes, well, what he's saying must be true, all right? I'm not digging my nose, y'all. I'm just fixing the nose ring. In the beginning of the year, it's like the 2nd of January, y'all, my white mom sends me a message, and it has the name of my daughter, the name of his daughter, his daughter, in the clip, and or in the subject line. And she just, name of my daughter, the name of his daughter, in the clip, and or in the subject line. And she just, and I'm gonna take a pause and post it so you can see it, right? And I always used to say, like, my white parents always had great intentions. They always had great intentions. There's always like a cultural difference because I'm Black, they're white. I grew up in the U.S. Virgin Islands. They grew up here in the mainland. But I always like to say, like, my mom raised me. She raised me so good that the people that come into my life are blessed beyond measure, right? Because I'm a good person at my soul, at my core. But my mom would say praise and recommendation. So y'all can be the judge of that. I read this letter, and I swear to y'all, I was so fucking blindsided. I mean, listen, I was like, what is this? Where is this coming from? I lie to y'all not. I read it, right? Because when I got it, I read it, and then I read it out loud to my toxic person, to that man. And I swear to y'all, his response was, can you send that to me? Y'all. Now, y'all seen the letter by now. I'm probably going to put it here somewhere. Could you imagine? And I should have known. Like, I should have known then that, he probably had something to do with it, right? Something to do with this smear campaign. Because while some things were like grounded in truth, it was just stretched and, moved past whatever it needed past. I think I was most disappointed in this letter because my parents were like my trusted confidants, right? Like, whenever I had issues with parenting, I would be like, Mom, I don't understand why, bloop, 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 right? So it just left a bad taste in my mouth. It was an awful taste. It was awful fucking taste. I can't even begin to tell y'all how awful it was. So what I ended up doing was I just simply respond, don't call me, I'll call you, or some shit like that. I responded. It wasn't anything crazy. I didn't go into any details. I didn't go into any what. And I was mad. I was mad for a long time, y'all. And the part where she puts in caps that I should be in counseling, y'all, I was in counseling. The kicker over there is I was in counseling. Been in counseling for a while now. But needless to say, that happened. And I lie to you not, I did not reconcile that relationship until recently. Like, seriously, like, until recently. And, and things will never really, truly be the same because, like, it's a lot. Like, it was a lot, right? But still love my parents to death, and I still know they mean well. But I was having a hard time just kind of like, I just saw you the day before. You didn't say anything to me. And then you blast me in an email. I felt blindsided. I don't like feeling blindsided, y'all. And I will do my best not to blindside y'all. But I felt blindsided. So needless to say, that's how the year started off, 2019, y'all. So I'm not even a year into my cancer diagnosis, by the way. So I was like, shit, I don't need nothing else. But what did we call in 2019? The smear campaign. And this is the diary of an almost broken woman. All right. So now here it is. Your toxic person in your life has gone out of their way to make the people that support you question who you are at your core. Because what I read in that email was not a good person. I just was like, damn, what? That's crazy, right? So now, guess what? My trusted confidant becomes my toxic person. It's no longer, because again, where I can, and I still have like trusted advisors for all intents and purposes, and I have good mentors, and I can always count on Mr. B in places, but like mama and pop were it. And really mama was it. So it was hard. It was fucking hard, y'all. Like to be like, okay, don't call me, uncall me. Because I was like, if this is what you think of me, I don't want you around my kids either. Right? Like, just literally, that's how I thought, like, how I took that. Not knowing that the narc was behind the conversation. I'm speculating here, y'all, but that's my story. I'm sticking to it, okay? Because the way in which he responded tells me that he had something to do with it. Because he was like, can you send it to me? And my dumb ass sent it to him, to y'all. Something's wrong with me, all right? But needless to say, it is what it is. 2019, season 8, y'all. In February, he sent me a message about a command ombudsman, right? It's a position at the, the military base where I think it's a civilian has it and they help the civilian people. But I want you guys to keep in mind of that too. And I don't know if I'll remember to address it in 2022, where I think it's a civilian has it and they help the civilian people. But I want you guys to keep in mind of that too. And I don't know if I'll remember to address it in 2022. But hopefully, I remember it. And if I don't remember, y'all remind me in the damn comments, all right? But for all intents and purposes, remember that the command ombudsman position was sent to me, and then he said disregard it in 2019, all right? He also sent like a proposal anniversary. So but you know what the funny thing about him sending an invite for proposal anniversary, it was like in February, and he proposed to me in March. So it was like, because again, your toxic person is going to always do a little bit just to pull you in, just to pull you in. Oh, he was being thoughtful to put the proposal anniversary on there. Mind you, we now 5 years in to marriage, 6 years into marriage now, 5 years into marriage now, if that, right? And he puts it on the fucking calendar. I'm like, that's random. But hey, it is what it is. At the time, y'all, I was not thinking it was random. I was like, oh, that's nice. That's so thoughtful. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Y'all, be mindful of toxic people in your life, because they're going to do whatever they possibly can to keep you near, to keep you blinded, to keep you just cloak and dagger. All right? Cloak and dagger, because they're going to cloak you and then they're going to be dagging your ass. All right? But anyway, I digress. Look, I put sent proposal anniversary, which was the wrong date, March. He said it for February 22nd. So he didn't even know what the fuck he proposed to me. So that in of itself should have been a red flag too, right? Like, he don't even remember. He could go back to pictures and figure it out to be accurate, but he didn't even do that. Lazy. All right? You'll also find that your toxic person is probably lazy at their core. Okay? They didn't really want to work hard. And that's probably why I got sucked in, right? That he probably didn't pick me. All right? I picked myself. All right? Because I just threw myself at him. That's what I was doing. I've been throwing myself at him. There came a time in 2019, he was talking to somebody. He was like, I want you guys to keep that in mind, all right? I got the receipts. Right? And I was like, damn, you seem real fucking happy talking to that person. And it was a female. I could hear it was a female voice. And I said, who's that? He's like, an old coworker. All right. Okay. Sounds really happy, man. I kind of said some shit like that. And I think we proceeded to get into like argument. I was like, dude, like, you don't sound that happy with me, or whatever it was. But then also too, 2019 brought this notion of him talking about selling the house. Y'all, when this man, listen, let me tell y'all something. This man knew I wanted to be a mom. He knew I wanted to be a wife. He knew I wanted to have the happy family. He knew I wanted the picturesque everything, right? I wanted to have the devoted husband who was by my side during my cancer treatments, blah, 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 right? That's what I wanted all. So anytime it even felt like I was getting some remnants of feeling like I'm happy or good or whatever it was, he'd literally shit on my shit, poo-poo. And then the way in which he would bring up the situation, be like, I didn't think it was that bad. Well, Julie, I've been saying I wasn't happy for a while. Nigga, you could say you ain't happy because you're fucking miserable. Not because you really ain't happy, just because you're a miserable person. And you can't know what happiness is because you're miserable. So maybe you should work on your misery first, figure out what really makes you happy, and then let's go from there, right? But hey, I digress, y'all. I'm obviously a little triggered. Okay, 2019 was not a good year for me. By this time, he also had an XC90 car. And I remember being in a position and just being like, I don't even know why he bought this car. Because again, he was all about the Joneses. So he bought this car. The car note was higher than he was expecting it to be, but it's a luxury car. And I'm like, dude, who fucking cares about luxury cars? Just get a fucking car that gets you from point A to point B. I never drove his car because, again, I don't care about shit like that. I really don't. All right? I'm gonna drive my whip, let it get me from point A to point B, and I'm be okay. All right? If I had it my way, I'd be in a Rivian right now. Okay? A fucking electric, an electric freaking SUV. Okay? That's what I would do. But Rivian is expensive. Just want to let y'all know that right now. But anyway, I digress. And Rivian wasn't it. SUV. Okay? That's what I would do. But Rivian is expensive. Just want to let y'all know that right now. But anyway, I digress. And Rivian wasn't around in 2019 to my knowledge, so let me stay focused. But you remember I told you guys in season 1, I have ADHD. And this is my diary of almost broken women. Okay, so let me do my own thing. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Just laugh, y'all. Don't take yourself so seriously. So by this time, he has a Volvo XC90. I said Volvo. Maybe I think it's a Volvo. And then he's talking about selling the house. And he says, there's no love here. We got to sell this house. So listen, don't be threatening me. Because one thing I will never be is asked out. You hear what I'm telling you? You will never find me asked out. So when the man started talking about he gonna sell a house, I said, okay. Do you, bro? I called the broker. I said, hey, what can I afford? This dude talking about selling his house. And I told the broker? I told the damn realtor too? I said, hey, things are a little rocky right now. I'm not gonna rush this process, but I'm gonna take my time to find my house. But I know I'm not gonna wait for this shit to be over with so I can be asked out. I gotta have me a plan. I have kids to think about. And at the time, it was only CJ and my bonus baby. But still, they're my kids. I must have looked at like 40 or so houses, y'all. I mean, it was many. Many. And then I ended up with the house that you guys see here, right? That you guys often get to see here. And it was perfect because it was kind of like the same layout, colonial style. It already had a deck. They did an amazing job with like sort of like the groundwork, like in the outdoor, the curb appeal. The way the tenants had it though, oh my God. Tenants, you know who you are. Oh my God, the tenants. Y'all, I was like, bro, this is not okay. But I've always been one to like be able to see the diamond in the rough. Okay, I know what y'all thinking. I didn't see that. I get it. But I thought I saw the diamond in the rough, okay? But I'll say this. That man is much better off than when he met me. I'll tell you that. So at least I didn't drag his ass down. Okay, because I could have done that. And that's what toxic people do. Toxic people drag you down. But an uplifting person, good at their soul, is going to build you up. All right? So I digress. Self-praising and recommendation. So I looked at like 40 houses. I finally get to this one. I see the diamond in the rough. It had really good bones. I had to make some little changes here and there, but in all, it was a steal for the market that I was in, for the location I wanted to be in. It was just a great steal. I remember too, this dude, right? Because even though we were definitely on the rocks in 2019, I remember I told you guys, this dude will treat you like you're disposable when he has options. All right? When he got no options, you're going to be the best thing since sliced bread. But when he has options, and it's sad to say as his wife, like as his ex-wife, right? Or as his wife, at the time as his wife, right? That's weird to say, but that's true. I could feel it. It's like it's like something innate in me could tell me like, oh, that nigga's occupied. Oh, he has somebody in his pocket. Oh, somebody's definitely entertaining him now, right? Like you could just tell. So 2019 was just a whole bunch of dismiss. This is the same year too. My daughter told me that she had a conversation with one of his coworkers at work. And remember I told you guys, like I'm always hearing about these females. But what he also does really well is like anytime he's in a thing, he includes his fucking kids. That shit is so sad. It's sad. It's almost like he uses his kids as bait. Right? Like, look, my pretty daughter, Look at my pretty son. Look at my twins. He has twins now, but we ain't there yet. But you know what I mean? Look at my son. Look at my daughter. Like, that's just what it is. And always fucking playing the victim. Listen to me now. Listen to me. This man here always got some kind of drama. Baby mama drama. Something drama. And even when the drama really doesn't even fucking exist. Because y'all know I am not one for drama. You hear what I'm telling you? Y'all know me by now. I don't do drama. Unless it's somebody else's, apparently. Unless it's somebody else's, apparently. All right? So, because I misfix it. I can come in and fix anything. I got you. Let's do it. Again, like I told you guys, that's why I probably gravitate to life coaching. Because I'm like, okay, what's the problem? Oh, here are your options. Oh, no. I got you. Let's do it. Again, like I told you guys, that's why I probably gravitate to life coaching. Because I'm like, okay, what's the problem? Oh, here are your options. Oh, no. We can do this. This can be done. You got the will to win. That's just what it boils down to. The man, just different. Ain't no love here. I don't even want to be in this house anymore. And you keep talking about, and we used to always talk, listen, y'all, we used to talk about the fucking budget. Let me tell y'all about this budget, okay? And I ain't brush on it every time we talk about it, but 2019 is the best place to put it because smear campaign is real, all right? You start off the year, my trusted advisor and mama and pop, my parents, my white parents, literally, I had to be like, look, okay, I can love y'all from afar. We start talking about this budget, continue to talk about this budget, but the budget is what the budget is. I tell them, man, listen, if it's 10,000 bills, I'm going to use small numbers here for you, okay? These ain't real numbers, but I'm going to use 10 because it's just easy to do in tens. If we got bills between him and I to run this household and it's $10,000 a month, and I make and I make $7,000 a month, and he making $3,000 a month, what's the problem? If you paying the one bill, that's $3,000 a month. If the rest of the $7,000 getting paid. Am I tripping, y'all? Because I swear to you, I used to make that. Listen, I used to make that logic. And it ain't never one time. Listen, even in this time now, y'all, I take it out of 401k. Slowly just depleting my shit. They even check it. I'm going to go back to the number when we see each other, but they even check it. Talking to the man, oh, I don't understand why I got to be paying the mortgage and it's $3,000 and you get all these little linky things. And listen, if we get $10,000 and I'm making $7,000 and you get $3,000, like, the bills got to be paid. Nobody calling and knocking at your door. So what's the problem? Oh, you just don't want to be responsible. Okay, I got you. Okay, I got it. So always a freaking conversation. So then one time, I said, listen, y'all, your girl is really good about, I ain't trying to do no unnecessary drama. So what I would do is say, okay, you know what? You plan the budget. You budget. You do it the way, you get us there. You think that might ever take me up on my offer? Because he's toxic. And toxic people don't want you to put them on blast. They don't want to be accountable. Because I'm like, we going to be doing all this arguing all the time. Like, look, you got it. You do it. You think you do it? No. So we still in the same place, but again, because you don't want to be able to take away the thing that they get to argue about, the thing that they get to cause confusion about, because they need a thing. And then in 2019 is probably around the same time I'm now hearing about, it might have started in 2018, y'all, after the whole cancer diagnosis, but I ain't completely sure, so I want to say that with a level of certainty. But I know by 2019, I was definitely hearing about how he took his daughter away from her mom and put her in a house with a woman she don't like, that she's afraid of. I'm sorry, he said she's afraid of. And I was like, what? And then all of a sudden, he asked me these weird questions like, do you love her? What are we talking about? So when, of course, it didn't come to a surprise when I know with the smear campaign from my white parents talking about, oh, you seem to resent the existence of this little girl now that CJ's here. Are you serious right now? Okay. All right. Do you, bro? That's all what you can say about that? You can't say anything else. So I sat there and I just started getting fed up. and fed up. And I was like, fuck this. I ain't doing this. Listen, I can't take this disrespect anymore. I gonna start looking for a house. So that's what I did. Listen, no, ain't too many things y'all to say out loud and I don't follow through on. You hear what I'm telling you? So I know y'all saying, oh, Julie, you talking big talk now because blah, 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 but you didn't leave till 2022. I get it. But I at least made an attempt in 2019. I made the attempt. I was tired. I was done. I was like, man, I can't do this. This don't even make no sense. I mean, there were times I was going to fucking chemo crying, feeling like I'm washed up, feeling like this man here ain't in his right space to take care of nobody, much less himself. So, okay, before I get to a place where I really need to depend on this man, let me go ahead and try to do my own thing. You know how many times I say to myself, like, oh my God, what is man would I do if I was really decrepit? Let me try to do my own thing. You know how many times I say to myself, like, oh my God, what is man would I do if I was really decrepit? If I presented as day 4. But anyway, we're going to get it when we get it, okay? Yeah, we still in season 8, okay? And we still in 2019. I still got a lot of years to go before I come to my damn senses, all right? But needless to say, I get tired in freaking 2019. I couldn't do it no more. I said, okay, I can look for houses. I look for houses, y'all. And I remember this man here, because even though I was kind of looking for houses, we were still, because again, you remember I tell you guys, whenever we were always like in a rough patch, it was just a rough patch. It wasn't really like a severed patch, like how it's severed now, right? Like, but before, I was like, oh, you know what? I don't know. He's still my husband. You know, I still got to, keep up faces and all this other stuff. It was crazy. That's all I can say, man. It was crazy. And I just got to the point where I was done. And I said, you know what? I'm not doing this. So I went out to look for a house. I take my sweet old time till I came across this beautiful house. And when I came across a beautiful house, I still wanted to like be showing him and, including him. And part of it, I think, is a sick, like I'm telling you, that's sick trauma bond. If I show him I don't need him, then he's going to feel some kind of way and he's going to come back and realize that, nah, bitch, if you keep him nearby, he's going to stay nearby because he knows you're weak. And by being weak, he has you wrapped around his finger while you think you're in control. You have no control. That's why he's always there. That's why he hasn't gone anywhere. Okay. Well, I didn't know that then, okay? I didn't know that then. So I was like, okay, show him the house. I'm booming him and telling me straight up, I never going to live in this house with you. Say just like that, y'all. Nasty and all, just like that. You could hear the, disdain in his voice, like, nah. Keep that in mind. Okay, I want y'all to keep that in mind. He ain't gonna never live in this house with me. Okay, damn, you gotta say it like that. My bad, bro. Okay. Home is for sale and ain't selling. So the home we in for sale but ain't selling. And I finally close on this house here. And listen now, as I close on the house, I spend the night here. Fuck that. Who? I ain't playing. Me ain't take nothing. You hear what I'm telling y'all? Nothing but the clothes I had. And CJ clothes. Some are CJ clothes. I don't even think I take all his CJ clothes. But I blank slate. Now I'm Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Because listen, y'all don't be poo-pooing on that, okay? You ain't got it like that. That's a good place to start. As a matter of fact, that blue room downstairs that y'all love so much, that blue room is 90% Facebook Marketplace, all right? Hand-me-downs and secondhand stuff. I remember just being like, feeling like getting a house and being free and feeling free. But then them damn Google photos and the iPhone photos and the memories popping up. So now I'm like, but that's a nice picture. That's a nice picture too. This was really sweet. Oh man, well, we're good. So and the delineation between over and not over is still unclear, and I'm still technically his wife. So like I told you guys in a couple seasons before, what I would do is be like, if we were ever in really beef, for me to gauge how he was, I'd throw my vagina at him. Just throw it at him. So that's what I started doing. When he would have the kids, I would go over in little lingerie shit that I wasn't doing when we were fucking married and shit. But it made sense because now I had time, because we were splitting the kids to some degree, right? Like every other weekend or some shit like that. I'd have CJ during the week, so he'd go to school. He had the daughter during the week, and then on the weekends, I'd have sometimes both of them, right? We split the kids, all right? Yeah, y'all. The same person that was like, M&Ms aren't available. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, again, I didn't even realize the manipulation. I'm telling you, the trauma bond is real. If you're in an invisible, abusive relationship, if you're in toxic something, the trauma bond is real. All right? It's a secular motion, perpetual stage. Just, you keep going through it. You just keep going through it. You just keep going through it. And while you think you're in control, you're really not. So now here I am, not setting clear boundaries. And now I'm going over and giving them through it. You just keep going through it. You just keep going through it. And while you think you're in control, you're really not. So now here I am, not setting clear boundaries. And now I'm going over and giving the vagina up. And every time I give the vagina up, I come back home, I'm like, man, I'm lonely. I like to tell myself. I'm telling myself I'm lonely. I'm telling myself that I'm alone. And it feels sad. And it's hard. No, it's not. It's just different for a moment. And that's what I know now. But then I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. So what I ended up doing, constantly just giving the vagina. I'm like, oh, he's still attracted to me. He always picks me. But don't worry, all of 2019 still, nothing ain't really happened. I ended up going to the Virgin Islands too, taking CJ for the first time. And that was amazing. It was amazing. I traveled with him. I went to St. Martin, went to the Virgin Islands. I went to Anguilla, just taking CJ to see the world with me. But still kicking back, right? Like kicking back like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's blah, 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 blah. And it was interesting. I was trying to figure out when, anyway. But all this stuff is happening. And by this time, too, I think we have like a joint account or 2 or 3. But it was an account in his name that I was contributing to. And it had like a significant amount in it. Maybe $5,000, something like that. And he like spent it just like on his own. Didn't talk about it, say nothing or whatever it was. And I'm just like, okay, I see who you are. I see exactly who you are. I forgot to tell you guys too, like in season 7, in 2018, the one dog that I had, we had to give it away because he bit CJ. So like, cancer was happening. The dog was sent away and all this other stuff. And then here we are in 2019. It's just like one sad thing after another thing. And you remember I told you, like, toxic people don't want you to be happy. They don't want you to come to a realization that life can be better without them. So they want you to stay miserable. They want you to think that this is your norm and that's what it'll always be. So once I got into this house, y'all, I literally didn't look back into that other house. I didn't. I was like, man, listen. Then all of a sudden I move out the house, y'all, and he has the first friend anniversary. I said, Miss, we in his house all this time and you ain't never had people over. You ain't like significant, right? But now all of a sudden you have a friend anniversary. So we had a friend anniversary and he invited me again. So now here I am going back to my house. He's there with his friends. And I say back to my house, right? But technically it's my house, right? But we're back to the house. He has the friends over and we end up going out. And it's still kind of weird because like it's almost like we're together, but we're hanging out together. It was fucking weird. And again, like I told you guys, people, all like your toxic person is always going to do that. They're going to give you just enough for you to question your own reality. Like, are we here or are we not here? Right? Make it a thing. Are we here or not here? Like, what's going on? So go out. I look fly as fuck, by the way. And it's a good time. And then from there, it kind of like starts to kind of pick up or whatever. But, there's so many things else I didn't get to in 2019. It was like, when you think about the special accommodations, right? Like, so I forgot to tell you guys too, in 2018, when I was diagnosed, he had asked for special accommodations at work. So he actually had an altered work schedule to take care of his wife, right? Me, which he wasn't taking care of, by the way. But for all intents and purposes, like, that's what he did. So I want you guys to think about that in here in 2019, right? So because this stayed with him, this special accommodation stayed with him throughout the rest of his career, from 2018 until he retired. All right. Now, listen, I know this is a lot. I know we talk about the military, we talk about other people, but like I told you guys in the previous seasons, decisions were made. All right. Everybody made decisions. Everybody here made decisions. Everybody I'm talking about made decisions. I'm only talking about my lived experience in a toxic relationship. So in 2019, I found the fucking balls to leave the house, bought a whole new house for me and my son. And yeah, I say me and my son, but I bought a house big enough for the family, y'all. You say whatever you want, but I bought a house big enough for the family. So in 2019, I found the fucking balls to leave the house, bought a whole new house for me and my son. And yeah, I say me and my son, but I bought a house big enough for the family, y'all. You say whatever you want, but I bought a house big enough for the family because I wasn't quite done yet, right? So I bought a house that could accommodate everybody. I did. That was on top of my mind because I was always about my family. I'm a team player, the ultimate team player. All right? Trying to get better lighting. So what I ended up doing was buying this beautiful house. It's a beautiful house, y'all. Has great curb appeal, has beautiful space. And I made some renovations to make it more modern, more, smart. And the man had already told me I would never live there with you. And I remember one time he came to tour and you could see on his face, like, damn, this bitch legitimately, like, left me with everything. I left him with everything, y'all, on purpose to prove a point. That you might be in a space where you're trying to break me, but I'll never break. I'll bend, but I'm bending because I'm choosing to bend. I'm not bending because, like, you're making me bend. I'm bending because I'm making the choice to bend. But if you want to take that for granted, that's on you. Okay, bro. So now you roll around. I'm in this house. We go to the anniversary. It's a good time. We move out where we need to. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, at some point throughout this time that I'm gone, right? He's still doing whatever he's doing with whoever he's doing it with. Because like I said, when a man has options, you are disposable. Okay, and it's sad to say it, but that's just what it is. Okay, that is my realization, and it's a sad realization, but that is what it is. So I'm sure there's one or two of you out there right now in something toxic, and you realize that, oh, she seems attentive now. Oh, that's because she's not occupied. Oh, he seems attentive now. Oh, that's because he's not occupied. But as soon as they become occupied, then locks on phone, he, always on phone, boop, 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 whatever it is. You know what it is. Just read into the signs. You know what it is. The universe is always going to give you what you need. Always going to give you what you need. All right. And there's no, what do you call it? There's a reason why in which I came across him talking to this ex-coworker and just being all, dude was like, I'm like, oh, he don't seem like he's miserable right now. Seem happy. All right. But I digress. Buy the house in July, y'all. He tells me in August that I can't have any more mommy and me time with his daughter indefinitely. I didn't even respond to the damn message. He told me he'll never live in the house with me. Never. He's like, I ain't never gonna live here with you. Damn, you saying it like that? My bad, bro. All the while he's trying to sell the house that we have together, But I knowing this man, he have no plans. You always telling you no plans. And I'm like, look, one thing I'm never gonna do is let a person without a plan have me fucking following them. And I never was like that, right? Y'all can say me about, you can tell me many things about the story that I'm telling you, about the testimony I've given you, but no time can you ever say that I've been dealing without a plan. I always got a plan, at least for myself and my children. Okay, so house still ain't sell yet, and I now am in this house full-fledged now, and I'm going, listen, ever so often I'm going back to get my itch scratch, y'all. Ever so often I'm going back. I mean, ever so often. It was often. It was often, ever so often. And in the process, I'm tracking, because, you know, like I told you guys, I used to track an app, because what the man told me was, oh, we don't even have enough sex. So when somebody tells you, I'm telling you, when somebody's telling you a thing, you got to literally take inventory, because the sick game with a toxic person is they are hell-bent on convincing you that their reality is your truth. That their reality is your truth. All right? So you might see something completely different, and they are they're trying to convince you to see it from their point of view. I remember the first time he told me it was miserable, I was like, wait, I didn't think it was that bad. I remember saying that shit out loud, y'all. I was like, I didn't think it was that bad. That's real. That's fucking real. That is real. But you know what's also crazy in 2019, y'all? I mean, this is how sick. That is real. But you know what's also crazy in 2019, y'all? I mean, this is how sick this person is. Now, the man had told me, right? He had said to me, oh, you leave me with a bag, and you leave me with this, and you leave me with that, because now I gotta go take care of this house. I gotta go take care of this freaking house, y'all. So I'm not overextending myself. Things are tight. You ain't got, I'm sorry, I can't be your helpmate right now. So he like that. Oh, how you gonna do this? And oh my gosh, I can't, blah, blah, blah. Wait, what? Boy, just go somewhere. just go sit out somewhere. So what I ended up doing was still going to go get the ding dong when I want to get the ding dong. Still sitting in a place where, you know, I'm slowly furnishing this house. And then he says something to me. We were talking on the phone, because this is when, you know, people could be cordial on the phone. We're talking, and he says, you know what? I'm going to have to crash this car so I can get out of the car note. Well, guess what? The man eventually totaled the car. Talking about he fell asleep behind the wheel. But the kicker, y'all, is when we got into an argument, he said, look what you made me do. Because you had left me here holding the bag. Now that shit is sick. All right? If y'all see this car, how this thing mash up. Person that gets behind the wheel and intentionally crashes their car to get out of a car note, now that person is toxic. Now, what proof I got, except for what he said to me, and hey, that's all the proof I need, because I know what he said, and I know what he did eventually. And it's crazy because, you know what? In the moment that it happened, I was like, oh my God, because he sent me the pictures. So I posted him. I was like, don't fall asleep behind the wheel. Because he said he fell asleep behind the wheel. But I doubt he did. He knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. So guess what? Told that car, got out the car note. He's good to go. All right? So, again, what kind of person goes out of their way to always be circumventing a system? Who? Y'all doing shit like that? You should stop. Just stop right now. Listen, this is always going to be a no judgment zone. It's a no judgment zone, y'all. But please be mindful of where your mind takes you to do, and where your mind takes you to do things that you shouldn't be doing. But the man said that to me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, crash this car to get out of this car note. And sure enough, crashed his fucking car. And then when we got into argument, it's because, you know what's crazy though? Like I'm telling you, if you're dealing with a toxic person, you're gonna have to take notes. You're gonna have to take notes. Because if you don't take any notes, y'all, if you don't take any notes, you will never be able to, you won't know if you're coming or going. But one thing I wasn't is ever just going. So I took my notes, my mental notes, the shit that stood out and sounded weird, especially when he said to me, look what you made me do. Look what I made you do. Nigga, you decided to get behind that wheel and do what you did. I'm triggered, y'all. Definitely triggered. But hey, it's just crazy, man. Like I sit here and I think to myself, like all of the shit that I fucking endured, y'all. Like all of the shit. And then, in November, I officially started counseling. Like I was doing counseling, but I officially started counseling. I got it. And I always, because I was in such a mind fuck of a game, I was like, I have to have a male counselor because I'm dealing with a male. I fucking feel like I'm losing my shit. I need a male to fucking tell me what the fuck is going on here because this shit don't make no motherfucking sense. Like I told you, this male said to me, most of the time people who are in counseling, it's because they're with somebody who should be in counseling. And then also proceeded to say, you know what? Sometimes people just aren't compatible. You think he was trying to throw me a hint? But I wasn't ready to hear any of that, right? And this is also, I think, the year I got diagnosed with ADHD. It might have been 2019 and 2020. But 2019, I wasn't ready to hear any of that, right? And this is also, I think, the year I got diagnosed with ADHD. It might have been 2019 and 2020. But 2019, y'all, man. What a friggin' year. Smear campaign after smear campaign. Because you know what he started? He started subtly spewing that rhetoric of, I'm so bad to his daughter. Like, I'm overly critical. I'm all of these things. And it's my mind. I'm thinking to myself, like, she's been in school for so long. She's been in school since kindergarten. Ain't no one person ever said to themselves, oh, you know what? She should be in counseling. She should be this. She seems blah, blah, blah. Seems like your wife is blah, blah, blah. Nobody said that. But I'm telling you, when you're dealing with a toxic person, when they have the narrative, y'all, anything can come from it. And they're going to use as much as of the truth to taint as possible. Period. And it's sad. It's absolutely forsaken sad that somebody goes out of their way to try to make everything that's good and pure in the world be rotten and disastrous. So here it is. For a long time, he was just dropping little nuggets. I'm a bad mom to her, critical to her, boom, boom, boom to her. When it was convenient. And it all started, I told you guys, it all started after he was found out to be a cheater. So it was almost like I had this thing on him, so he had to create a thing on me. And that's sad, y'all. What the hell? So then no matter what, he always got something. And who doesn't feel for a kid? Who doesn't feel for a kid? So, like I say now in 2024, this man will use his kids, his mama, his aunt, his cousin, his dog, anybody to spew a rhetoric that's not true. Only for his own benefit. To play the victim, to do whatever. So 2019 definitely started the rhetoric. Oh, do you even love her? Oh, why would you even? Oh, that was just crazy. Like, mind you, the man essentially was trying to dump me again. So I was like, well, shit, if you dumping me, I'm not going to be your babysitter. But then made me feel guilty for trying to put a boundary in place. Oh, well, how can you say that you love her? How can you say that you're her? Like, you and you just out of the blue. What? Because she's your child. Period. Because she's yours. And unless you start showing the initiative, she got to be yours. Because I was tired. I was tired of doing it all. And still doing it all. But y'all, I could sit out now. But guess what? In 2019, I still ended up going and making sure she was part of my day, and I mean part of my my weekends, and I took her to the office at school, and we were still doing Girl Scouts and still doing it all. While this man here living his best life. Fucking on me again. Yeah. We gonna find out in 2019. Listen, we gonna find out in 2022 all the shit that was happening in 2019. And then you gotta think, you know what's so sick about that, y'all? Is that when I think back to 2019, and I look back at his messages from July 2019 that I found in August of 2022. Y'all, by the way, we can get there. We gonna get there. But we in season 8. I'm a little triggered. But I just got diagnosed the year before. And by July of 2019, so in February of 2018, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. And by July of 2019, you're talking about, I love you too. You make my best things go away. Y'all, I'm gonna play them for you too. When we get to that in 2022, I'm gonna play you those messages too. But can you imagine? So it didn't matter what the fuck I was going on. It doesn't matter what I had going on, who I was with, when I was with them, how it was, what was going on in my life. Doesn't matter how much I supported him. He was like, yeah, this heifer, she don't deserve nothing good. So I'm going to give her all the raw, nasty me. That's what he did. I wish I could say it any other way. But that's what happened. So in 2019, I was tired. Fucking tired. Okay, you got somebody in your back pocket. I can't do it anymore. I'm going to move out. So I moved out. Signed in my house. Munchkin was there. CJ was there. Sold that, bought the Munchkin was there. CJ was there. Sold that, bought the house. And we started putting stuff together. Started having a good time. And it just was what it was. Like, and I'd send pictures from here and there. But again, my problem was, y'all, I didn't set the clear boundaries. So I was still going back. I was still going back to get some ching chong. I was coming back to go get the ching chong. I was throwing my vajayjay on him because it made me feel good to y'all. I'll be like, okay, by the way, he's still attracted to me. Ha ha ha. Stop telling yourself a lie. You could be attracted to a freaking doorpost. That mean you gotta go to the doorpost. All right? You gotta practice a little self-control. That's what I should have told myself. That's not what I told myself. I was like, he's your husband. He's choosing me. He's making me feel good. He can't resist it for JJ. Okay. But you need to resist yourself. How about that? Because whenever you have blurred lines, y'all, in a toxic relationship, y'all, nobody's winning but the toxic person. Because guess what? He's still talking to whoever he was talking to. And here I am going to throw myself at him. He had to work for it. When did I ever make this man work for anything? Never. So 2019 ain't no different. But I was tired, y'all. I bought this house and I thought that I was accomplished. And I felt like I was good because there was a little bit of freedom. But then I started begging him, y'all, to come back. Begging. I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend like it wasn't groveling. I was groveling. Oh, my family, and I don't want my kids to be a statistic, and I love you, and I just don't understand why you don't see them. Y'all, begged him. I was just sad and desperate and dumb and dirty. All these things. I was all these things, y'all. But most of all, I was trauma bonded. It's almost like I didn't know how to function by myself at this point now. Or I didn't want to be too happy by myself, because what does that say about what it was? Because I used to remember there used to be times when he would ask, like, oh, so what do I do? And I had to be pulling teeth, y'all. Well, you take out the trash from time to time. Or I'll say things like, oh, well, you give me the love that I need. You let me smell the roses. right? But really, I was pulling, y'all. It should be effortlessly when somebody says, like, hey, what I bring to the table. It should be effortless. Oh, you bring sustainability. You bring, sustainability. You bring respect. You bring solid foundation. You bring durability. You bring all these other big, nice words. And I said, you got to try from time to time, and make me slow down and smell the roses. Y'all, it's just a damn shame, man. But 2018 was a year of fucking smear campaign, right? Because he definitely started smearing my name. Oh, Julie's just so tough. She's just so tough on her. Just don't understand why. That's the only thing I complain about. It's just how tough you are. I remember I used to ask him, like, damn, you don't even take me anywhere. He was like, well, would you want to take yourself anywhere if you constantly getting criticized? That nigga he had the most responses to the things that I said that made sense. Like, you don't even take me out. Like, why don't you take me out? Like, you can go out with all your friends, but you don't take me out. Well, Julie, you don't even drink. Well, what does drinking have to do with it? I can have a good time without drinking. Oh, well, you're such a square. Oh, damn, I'm a square now. I just don't have that fun. Listen, no, I can tell you guys, be mindful of a person that is going out of their way to define you as something that you're not. At your core, then you're like, well, I'm boring. Do I come across as boring to y'all? But he sure did have me believing I was boring. Can you imagine? Listen, it's the craziest thing, man, because I remember saying, he was like, yeah, the way, you know how I go, like the way you treat her, because you're treating her this way, then I'm gonna have to bleep out her name, but the way you treat her and making me feel like, I don't want to do anything with you because she's an extension of me. Like everything, I swear to you, every argument we would get into, y'all, would always revert back to her. And I'm going to show you guys when we get to, season 10, 11, and 12, like how persistent it became. And she was either a weapon or a shield. All right. So in this case of taking me and being able to take, it became. And she was either a weapon or a shield. All right. So in this case of taking me and being able to take me out, she was a shield. Oh yeah, because you're just so bad with her and you're so critical and all this other stuff. Like, I doesn't even want to, who wants to go out with you? But ever so often, y'all, he would take me out. Ever so often, he would take me out. And when he did, we had a great old time. So like, you try to make it make sense, y'all. You'd be like, what the? It's the craziest thing, y'all. You go out and you have a good time, but you can't have a good time anymore. Because they don't want to take you out. Because they don't want you to be happy. Because they don't want you to have hope. They really don't want you to have hope, y'all. They don't want you to have hope that is going to be any better than what it is, because they know they're not going to give you anything better than what it is. So they want you to have hope that things could stay together, but not that it's going to be better together. Because they want to be able to act out and do whatever the hell they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, without accountability. 2019 was smear campaign. It started off with my white parents, who were my trusted advisors that I knew since 2005. And in an instant, I said, it's okay, I'm gonna call. Don't call me, I'm gonna call you. And that lasted, y'all, until about 2013. Seriously, for 4 years. But wait, because it didn't end for him. Because the parents, like I told you guys, they do about well by themselves. So then all of a sudden he was like, oh, well, was the children's social security number, because the parents are asking. No, we don't need anything from the parents. We're good. They don't need that. Don't need their money. We're good. They tell me how they feel. The kids are good too. That's what I said. That was my stance. You think that was his stance? No, because he's all about what he could milk people for. All about what he could give for free. All about what he could do the least amount of work for and get the most bang for. You know what I'm telling you? So he was all hell-bent about trying to get the information that they were asking for. Because that means if somebody else is saving for his kids, he ain't got to do it. All right, y'all. I talked to this man for so long. I'm like, hey, you saving for munch, 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 you saving for munch. When you see him, you should ask him how much he saved for munch. I remember one time we got into an argument. I don't know if it's 2019 or not, but I remember we got into an argument about something. And I get back to the same conversation about like saving and, you know, what are you doing for the future? He's like, I'm in the military and my GI Bill, that's the least I could do for them. Because when I got out, I didn't have anything. That's you, but you could do a little bit better for your kids. You don't think that's worth it? No, because you're a narc. No, because you're toxic. So for you, you're like, well, I struggle, so I want my kids to struggle too. That's what it sounds like to me. No, thank you. It's okay. But needless to say, y'all, 2019 was a whirlwind of smear campaigns. And I can only imagine, because this in 2019 too, that's when I realized that my mother-in-law was interesting too. I'll just say that, interesting. It was the weirdest fucking thing. She would come to the house, and then all of a sudden, my friend is taking her places. Like my friend, y'all, like legitimate my friend. And I had to tell my friend, I was like, listen, if I wanted you to take us someplace, you don't think I would call you and tell you? Oh, well, I mean, I didn't even think nothing of it. Well, that shit's messy. That's what that is. But now it makes sense, right? Because if you see somebody being messy and they have offspring, chances are their offspring are messy too. And guess what? We've seen that he's very messy. So I ain't said nothing to her. She's probably hearing it for the first time now here. I ain't said nothing. I never said anything to her. I was like, oh, I see how you are too. And again, apple don't fall too far from the tree, you know. Apple don't fall too far from the tree. So I say that to say, and I say with a grain of salt, y'all, 2019 was a whole bunch of smear campaign. And apparently when I reached out and when I tell him like, oh, your mom seemed like she different around me too. And I said, regardless of how I talk to you, and that's what I used to tell him, regardless of whoever I talk to about you, even if I bitch, moan, cry, boop, boop, nobody treats you any different. But here it was clear I was being treated different. And I was like, that's weird. Like, what the fuck are you saying that makes her feel like she's got to go way out of her way to let me know things? I was being treated different. And I was like, that's weird. Like, what the fuck are you saying that makes her feel like she's got to go way out of her way to let me know things are different too, right? So, needless to say, y'all, smear campaign, and smear campaign. Because there was one time, I don't know if it was it might have been before I moved out too. And it might have been in 2019 too, because I'm telling you, you know, I'm sitting there dealing with my daughter's hair, and I'm like kind of giving her my old talk that I'm like, what do you mean? Why can't you say you don't blah? Why don't you say blah, blah, blah? I'm going in on her, right? And then mother-in-law turns to me and say, come on now, that's like child abuse in front of my child. Listen, though, and I probably was the same year that she come to the house and I'd say to give my daughter food, and she ended up making a sandwich anyway. And you know, by this time too, I'm like struggling a little bit, man. I'm really struggling because I'm feeling like I'm losing all sorts of control. And he just constantly have people coming in the house doing and saying and whatever they want to. I'm like, who does that? This is our home. But he don't care because he don't want me to be happy. He don't want me to feel like I'm anything. He always wants me to feel like I'm less important than the next person, because that's really what he's good at. He's really good at pitting women against each other. So here I go. And I say, I come downstairs and I see that the sandwich was made instead of food was given. So I take the plate from in front of my daughter and I throw it in the trash. And I say, because I said so. And that was it. I ain't say nothing else. And apparently she felt some kind of way, talked to he didn't come back to talk to me. And I said, but wait, you're missing the point where I asked her to give something. Well, Julie, you acting like my mom don't. You know what? All right, bro. All right, then we're going to line on that. We're going to stay on that. You don't think you owe my mom an apology? No, I don't. You don't think your mom owe me an apology? No, because it's in the first time. Because when I talk about our son back in 2016, what she needed to do, she ain't do it. So here we go. Because your mom thinks she runs shit here. And that's fine, too. That is absolutely fine, too. Because a man that lets his mom, and it's the same for a fucking woman, A man that lets his mom come into his house and disrespect his wife, that is a red flag. I don't care how subtle it is, because your mom ain't low like me. Don't make it any different. Your mom is disrespectful. And that's fine. It's okay. I'm a dinosaur. That's my perspective. And it is what it is. But I felt that was uncalled for, because I would never go into my son's house and his wife asked me to do a thing and not do that thing. Anyway, but that's just me, because I'm good at my core. And then roll in again. That's what you're allowing it to happen. So I'm the same. A female coming in, you let your husband come to your house and disrespect your husband. That's a problem. Y'all gotta work that shit out. So, and it was a big contentious space. Oh, you think my mom is boom, boom, boom. You think she's feeling a little differently because of the way you treat me and the daughter? Really? What are you saying that I'm doing? Because maybe you make it seem, you sound like I beat y'all every night. But hey, I get it. I'm the loudest person in the room. So it's easy for you to be like, look, see, there she goes. She's extra. Nah, and you know what? After this series, you're probably going to be like, I'm real extra. But no, I'm telling my truth. I'm telling what I lived. I'm telling all the red flags that I ignored. That I ignored. Because what happened was you actually raised a woman. You raised a woman who was always looking for a handout. Like you. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And hey, I could take that and stand on a grain of salt, because all I heard in the years I've known you was, oh, I gotta find myself a man with some money. Well, guess what? Your son found himself with somebody who had a little bit of money, and he drained me. And then what he gave me in return? A STD. Listen, you hear what I'm telling you? And that's fine. And he's still swinging the ding ding left and right. So I'm triggered, y'all. I'm definitely triggered. All right, let's go back to Wu Sign. And this is really, because I have to always remember. I am talking about the father of my children. But that's real. And that tells you that I'm going to ask you guys. Like, when you guys see my kids, you know who they are. You say to yourself, like, man, we got to give them a little bit extra covering. Because we recognize that there's a potential that, you know what? So it might be a little suspect. All right? Like, what are they learning? What are they getting? All right? And I probably shouldn't have said that. That's definitely a little much. But hey, this is a diary of an almost broken woman. And yes, I'm triggered. I'm triggered because for all of 2019, smear campaign, what are you telling people? That I'm beating? That's definitely a little much. But hey, this is a diary of an almost broken woman. And yes, I'm triggered. I'm triggered because for all of 2019, smear campaign, what are you telling people? That I'm beating you? It sure as I wasn't beating their daughter. I was nothing but good to her. Was I perfect? No. But I treated her just like she was my own. And I remember when he asked me to, he was like, do you think that your personality is conducive to a child like CJ? What do you mean? Like, you don't think like you would make him go into a shell? No. He don't seem like he's in a shell right now. Like, this is what he's trying to convince me of, y'all. And you got to ask yourself, why would a person go out of their way to try to point that out? Because I'm bad for my kid? Bad for my children? When in reality, what you're doing is feeding them a whole bunch of bullshit. Like, for example, asking an 8-year-old, hey, do you think that Juju's mean? Like when she's yelling. So now you have the 8-year-old associating yelling with mean. You're a messed up person. Y'all gotta watch them toxic people that will use a child and children to sort of like perpetuate their agenda, right? Like little foot soldiers. That's sad. That is absolutely sad. And I'm well over my hour now, y'all. But we're still in a diary of an almost broken woman. Almost broken. You can tell I have these moments of being triggered because the triangulation was real. The smear campaign was real. And I can't even really say I have beef with my mother-in-law because I ain't really got beef in that, but I got to point out some of the things that I saw. I gotta point out some of the things that I did. The fact that you stayed at my house, but you would call my friend to take you places and not say anything about it. Like, that's weird. That's messy. It's really messy. And who does that? Probably a toxic person. Because chances are, y'all, a toxic person has a toxic parent. Y'all gotta listen. We can say what we want. A toxic person has a toxic parent. And you know what's crazy about these toxic people? Is that they always try to like ground themselves in the Lord. I can show you where, you know, when we were good. Because there was one time, like, I sent a message with the kids, like a picture, because I would try to do Mother's Day and all these other stuff. And this was when the smear campaign kind of started. She was like, the kids don't look happy. Man, you best believe that was the last motherfucking picture I ever sent her. Y'all, I don't play that. You what? That's what you got out of this picture? It's okay. You good. I mean, you stating your facts. Like I told you, she can't tell you one time that I ever checked on anything. She can't, because I don't do unnecessary drama, but we're going to talk about it here, because this is a diary of an almost broken woman. And then y'all going to see why I got a little bit of disdain in my voice when we get to 2023 and 2024. But for all intents and purposes, y'all, I'm well over my time. So I'm going to end here. This has been a diary of an almost broken woman, season 8. We called this season smear campaign, because that's another word that you're going to have to learn in this invisible abusive space that you are trying to get out of. All right. They will do everything in their power to try to make you sound like the villain so they can be the victim. And you ain't nobody's victim and you ain't nobody's villain. Okay. But what I want you to be is done. What I want you to be is free. All right. And I know in 2019, I didn't get free till 2022, because in 2019, I'm out. Y'all see, I'm out, but I'm not happy. I'm out, but I'm still going back to get the ding dong. I'm out. I'm not setting boundaries. So I'm not really out. Yeah, I left him, but trust me, in 2020, you'll realize I got right back. Spoiler alert, 2020, I got right back. All right. So with that being said, y'all, do enjoy the rest of your day, evening, night, your time. It's always a pleasure being here, sharing the journey with you. Hopefully those of you guys who are in a thing, you get out a thing. And if I helped you in any way, send me an email, drop me a comment, tell me. I want to help you. I want to see you win. I want you want to do 10 years like I did? Or 20 or 30 or 40 and lose yourself in the process? Or better yet, be diagnosed with terminal disease? I don't want that for you. Like I tell you guys all the time, I made all the dumb decisions so you don't have to. All right, so do enjoy the rest of your time. Season 9, 2020 is coming up. I don't know what we're going to call that year, but thanks for listening. Do enjoy the rest of your night. Bye-bye.